Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Foxx and Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here are your hosts, Kellen, Garrett, Gannon, and coming to you from the Fox Den, their dad, Todd Foxx.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Foxx and Sports Podcast. Along with, I think it's Kellen and Garrett. I haven't seen him in a while because we haven't had a podcast in a while. But along with Kellen and Garrett, I am Todd Foxx, and we are the Fox and Sports Podcast. Got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time, but we're going to talk mainly, obviously, about the 21-20 loss that Oklahoma just suffered against the Naval Academy in the Armed Forces Bowl. Was that in Fort Worth? I think Fort Worth, Texas. Let's just start at it. I mean, we're doing this about 3 hours after the game ended, so maybe cool down just a little bit, but we'll see. What happened?
I mean, I went into this expecting a loss already. I mean, I think even if we would have had, our full squad, I think we would have won. But that being said, I mean, being Oklahoma, you would hope even your second or third stringers would be able to beat Navy. I think that's kind of just the expectation. I don't care, who's out on the field. If you're wearing the crimson and cream, you should be expected to be able to beat that team. But all in all, I think it's just this game plan switched up and we changed after that first quarter for whatever reason, trying to utilize Hawkins' legs a lot more than needed and getting away from the rushing game that was working. And I don't know. I don't really know what the thought process was on that. I know Navy kind of made some adjustments and just stacking the box, which makes me also confused on why we continue just to run it right at that stacked box. But it's what we did. It's what we tried to do. It didn't work. I mean, it was pretty pathetic on all phases of the game. So drop passes is just pathetic, especially. I just don't understand. I mean, I know all year we struggled with it, especially with the injuries and everything, but I don't understand how you can be, not even just Oklahoma, you can be a college athlete and that is your position to catch the ball and you cannot do it. I just genuinely, I'll never understand that. But yeah, I mean, expected the loss. It almost sucks that we should have won just by the way we started the game. I thought by the start of that game, I thought it would probably been 40-something to a couple touchdowns maybe. But yeah, completely fell apart. Joe John, his inexperience in play calling showing. So, and inexperience for creativity as well.
Kellen, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was just a pathetic performance all around. You tried to use Hawkins' legs way too much, and like every 1st and 10, you knew he was just going to take off running. It was either going to be 1 yard or 7. It felt like it was just ridiculous. Receivers were dropping so many balls, and I don't care if you're not even I know we lost a lot in the transfer portal, but if you're a receiver at the college football level, you should be able to catch the ball. That's your job. It's like shooting free throws in the NBA. Just catch the ball. It's not like that. Like most of them were like reasonable passes. Like they were catchable. It's not like they were anything crazy. But I mean, their quarterback was playing like trash for the most part. There was many times where it'd be 3rd and 10 and they'd dish off the little, like a wheel to the halfback and he just missed the pass by like 3 yards over the dude. So they should have honestly beat us a lot worse than they did. They just took forever to get going on offense. But I don't know. Not very promising, but I don't know. This is why I hate bowl games, because it's just hard to ever know what would have happened if we kept people. Like, I think if we had one of our receivers, we win that game just because surely somebody could catch the ball. But we still should have won the game either way. We're the University of Oklahoma going up against Navy. There should never be a year that they should even stand a chance. But
we needed Deion Burks to play.
We've won 2 games. We've won 2 bowl games since Bob Stoops retired, and one of those Bob Stoops coached.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? That is completely amazing. Yeah, I agree. I mean, starting out 14-0, I thought, okay, here we go. And then we did. When did we do the fake punt? Was it 7-0, and then we did the fake punt, went on down, I believe, or was it before we already had 14-0?
It was after that.
And regardless,
and then I think what happened is we ended up going for 4th again and missed it.
And that's what I was going to say. I think the tides kind of turned when the second time we went for 4th down, didn't make it, and then they went down and scored a little bit before halftime, made it 14-7. I think that gave them some obvious momentum. And I don't know what happened with play calling and all that, but I mean, we did have some receivers drop several balls. I'd like to see the end of that and see how many, see how many we did drop. But I mean, at the same time, hats off to Navy for winning the game. And that's no disrespect. We should beat them. Now, granted, we're out there with a makeshift team, perhaps, in a sense. A lot of different players that haven't played much at all this season, and they're with their regular team. And I get all that, but I mean, our guys, athletic-wise, are much bigger, stronger, faster, and all that. But I mean, didn't matter. I mean, they still won. I read a tweet out there that said it was America versus Oklahoma, which, I mean, if Navy was playing Texas, I would have been for Navy. And I understand that piece of it, but it's just rotten. It stinks. 2 losing seasons in 3 years for Brent Venables, 6-7, I believe 10-3, and then 6-7 again. That's the only second coach in the last 100 years that has had 2 losing seasons. The other one being John Blake, who only lasted at Oklahoma for 3 seasons. And then I know a lot of Sooner fans had a rough time whenever Gary Gibbs was the head coach, but he never had a losing season. So it's just frustrating. We're a much better team. I feel like, we're obviously not, but I mean, I just feel like we're more talented, and we're just not getting it put together, and it's unfortunate. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I expected a close game. I kind of figured a 23-20 type of score, maybe. Didn't happen.
I mean, at the beginning of the game, I was honestly just like, oh, great, here we go. Like, Hawkins is going to put up a good game, and everyone's going to be thinking he should be the starter over Mateer, and it's like...
There's already people talking that already on the radio, trust me. I heard
that's what I'm saying. Is imagine if you would have finished the way you started. It's like...
Yeah. Regardless,
no, you don't go out and get a quarterback like Mateer and not start him next year. Like, that's
100%.
Disrespectful to Mateer. It's just a waste of time.
I agree 100%. There are already people saying it, and it's just like he's a tremendous athlete. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I think he's a tremendous athlete, and he can throw the ball and throw it hard, but he's not very accurate. He's got to have a little bit more touch on it.
Just redshirt Hawkins. Like, I'm not saying we can't start him ever.
Sure. No, I agree.
I'm not ready for him next year.
I would redshirt him next year. I would. You got the kid from Western Carolina or whatever coming in. Go ahead, Garrett. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, we'll talk more about material later, but
sure,
I can imagine seeing Brent over the offseason saying, nobody's guaranteed a position, and, it's all about pretty much who's ready and comes ready. But he got promised that job. He's not coming to Oklahoma for less money.
He's the quarterback.
And who do you think Arbuckle wants to start next year?
Sure.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
I agree 100%. Some people are saying, he didn't play anybody. Let me explain something. He's got experience, and you can just he's better.
And we didn't look good against the teams that weren't anybody either. It's not like we played just as many bad teams as we did great teams this year. We didn't look good against any of them.
Yes. Regardless, I still think we should have won that game. Here, okay. What are your all's thoughts? The 2-point conversion. At first, I was like, go for two. And then I was like, I don't like this call. I don't like this call, because I felt like in an overtime game, starting at the 25-yard line, I felt like I liked our chances better. I thought we might be able to stuff them. Now, granted, they may be able to do some of that, acting like they're going to run, throw, and that's wide open receivers, but I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but their kicker, all season long was 5 for 9. They don't kick field goals, and they don't kick field goals very well. 5 out of 9 is what he made. I liked our chances. After the fact, easy to say, but I remember saying, I mean, you guys are all kind of ripping on me at the house, saying I should have they should have go for it too. But anyway, go. What were you going to say, Garrett?
Well, I mean, yeah, I was just going to say that you were vouching for it up until we didn't get it. But
oh, stop it! I said it before the play. I said I don't like this call. I said that before the play, and you know it.
Before the timeout, and then you said that's what happened. Is before the timeout, you're like, no, I don't like the personnel out there, which you were just making up. But then they got everyone out there, and you were ready for it. Like, anyways,
well, I was ready for it because I was ready to get this game over with. I'm ready to get this season over with. It was a bad play call.
Our chances in overtime one bit. They were going to run it down there and score every single time with that style offense.
I don't know.
And our offense is the worst in the red zone. That's whenever we stall. It's been like that all year, no matter who's at quarterback and no matter who's calling plays. That's where we stall. Now, I get what you're saying. If we kick a field goal, odds are if they have to too, I like those chances. But no, I think we felt the same way. I think Venables probably felt the same exact way and just get going for 2. That was our best shot at winning that game. Now, the play call, I honestly haven't rewatched it to be like, was it good or bad? That guy, I'll never understand when it's the last play of the game like that and you just sit with the ball. Chuck, just put it in the air. Give somebody a chance.
Yeah.
But to just sit there and wait shows the freshman inexperience, and there's no reason he should have done that.
I would have rather seen him roll out and then have the run pass. I mean, he can either run it in or pass it. That's personally what I would have done. Heck, to be honest with you, it would have been better just to try to run the football straight up the middle than do what he did. And that was hold on to the ball until, I mean, you got to get rid of it. Last play, there's no tomorrow. You got to get rid of the ball. A little quarterback draw, something, just I don't think that would have worked.
That's all we've done all game.
I don't think it works, but I'm just saying that it would have been better than what they did. It was pathetic play call. But regardless, we lose, and it's frustrating. We got a new offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, coming in. There's talk of possibly Zach Alley going to West Virginia. I know Garrett said no shot that's happening. Hopefully you're correct. But there's talk of that because him and Rich Rodriguez have worked together in the past quite a bit. I guess that's where he worked before he came here, was for Rich Rod before he came here as well. But let me ask you all this. Next year at this time, what are the percentages that Brent Venables is our head coach going into season number 5? What do you think the percentage is?
With the state of the roster currently, I think 0%.
I'd say 50-50. It just depends on the year. If Mateer is what everybody's hoping, but I don't think he could have even done much for us this year with the way our line and our receivers were. I think we win another game. Yeah. Maybe 2, but it was deeper than a quarterback issue, but I'm hoping Arbuckle fixes that because I think play calls is what destroyed us and got our confidence down.
I got news for you. If Arbuckle turns this whole thing around, he may need to be the head coach.
I was going to say that too.
Just saying, if he can get this turned around,
if he turns it around, we don't want to lose him because he's going to go head coach somewhere else. So make him head coach here.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Go ahead, Garrett.
Well, I was just going to say though is what is turning it around, because if he turns it around, say, our offense looks good and our defense still looks really good, would you rather continue to have the good offense or the good defense? Because you're not going to be able to get both. We've seen that.
Well, could.
No.
I mean, he said we got to.
The reason I say that is because the only coaches that are able to do that are the Sabins and the Kirby Smarts and stuff like that, because they're just always on the national level and competing for national championships. We're not. We're not always going to be able to get the best of the best every single year.
No, I hear what you're saying. All I can tell you is I would rather have I'd rather have that Arbuckle being the head
I'd
coach.
rather have a powerhouse offense at this point. We've seen both sides of it, and at least we made the playoffs every year with our offense and trash defense.
Outscored
We're
everybody.
not doing anything anymore with no offense.
I think the defense is going to be solid next year. I know we're losing some key people, but if the Dominic Williams and who's the guy that said he was going to go out and then, or he's going to stay and then now it's possible.
R. Mason?
R. Mason Thomas. He's, he'll be back. You got Peyton Bowen. You've got Kip Lewis. You got, the other linebacker,
Kobe McKenzie.
I mean, I think we got some talent. Jackson in the middle. Hopefully,
Jaden Jackson.
Yeah. Hopefully, those guys all play big time next year. And again, I think I think we're going to be solid on defense, but the offense is the big story, and we're not going to get into all the NIL stuff tonight. But we've got to get better at all of that. We've got to get some better players in there. And the transfer portal ends tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more Sooners jump into it. And we've got to get some of these players from these bigger schools, not dogging and saying the Kennesaw States or whatever, these schools that some of these guys are coming from, or they're going to be garbage, because they may be decent players and turn out to be good. But, man, we got to get some people that can compete. This is the SEC, and you got to be able to compete in the SEC. And you got to have some of those good players. Got to get some dogs in there. Dogs.
I mean, I think just with the portal, more on the incoming, because we all know what we're losing. We just all the players and receivers and everything, but it's there's no difference. It's, in fact, I think we're going into next year currently already worse than we were coming into this year with healthy players, obviously.
I agree.
But offensive line currently worse than this year. Receiver core worse than this year. And so, and like Kellen mentioned, like, if Mateer probably would have made that big of a difference this year, he's not going to be able to make that big of a difference next year. I don't care who's the offensive coordinator.
He can't carry the team on his own in the SEC. No. Like, it's.
I don't disagree with that. But I do think there's going to be a shot at getting a few more offensive line guys, because the thing is, all you have to do is jump into the portal by tomorrow. You don't have to sign by tomorrow. See what I'm saying? So I think you'll see some signings with some offensive line help, maybe a receiver or a tight end. But other than that, I don't know, man. We got to. We're going to be in trouble, because that freshman that's coming in, the left tackle, we can't expect him to just jump in there as a true freshman and save everybody.
I mean, you'd love to, obviously.
Fasusi, is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Fasusi.
Yeah, you'd love to be able to say it, but I just not in the SEC. I don't think.
You never know. I mean, you can. It's just you have to be a different type of player to be able to not only also just play, but be good. That's the biggest thing.
Sure. And it'd also be helpful if the rest of the line was good, and it's like you don't have to carry the line. Like, I don't know. It's going to be scary.
What do you think went wrong this year? I mean, obviously, receivers getting hurt. How hurt they were, I don't know, because there's rumors out there that some of the players had didn't have a whole lot of, what's the word, good things, thoughts or whatever about our staff. A staff of doctors of some sort. That's one of the rumors on how I'm probably not saying it correctly, but
medical team.
Yeah, the medical team. They didn't have a whole lot of confidence in those guys. I mean, Nick Anderson evidently was driving up to Edmond a couple times a week, going to see a doctor on his own dime, and then he winds up going to LSU. Him and Bauer Sharp, which they can have Bauer Sharp. He was disappointing.
No, I mean they're
you know what I mean.
To be something special.
And then you got Farouk, who was out. I mean, here's the thing: we got Deion Burks coming back. We got Gibson, if Gibson can be back, but usually sometimes it takes a little bit of time for those kind of injuries. Those are two guys I think we could help build around. It's a kid coming in from Arkansas. But anyway, what do you think went wrong? Do you think it was mainly the offensive line more than anything?
I think it was the offensive coordinator more than anything. I think it was their wrong hire. I think that because that goes back to the end of last year, just about. I mean, just terrible hire. Terrible.
I mean, I just think he destroyed every shred of confidence in Jackson Arnold. The play calls were terrible. Like half of Jackson Arnold's turnovers were just like, we shouldn't be doing little backwards laterals that are turned into a fumble. Like that should never be an option. I don't think the injuries helped, but I think with a better coordinator, we might not have as many injuries. Like, I don't know. I think we're just playing our offense so weird, and it just set everything back. Like, I feel bad for Jackson Arnold. Like
I do too. I feel like
poor guy got wasted 2 years here.
Yeah, I truly think that game against Arizona he played in the whatever bowl game that was last year. I think that was more him. Now, granted, again, we've talked about he had 3 interceptions, okay, but a couple of them were tipped and all that kind of stuff's going to happen. I get it. But he was that Jackson Arnold versus the guy that stepped onto the field here, 2 different guys, because that was a guy with confidence and people surrounding him with, there's some talent, giving him some time to throw versus just pathetic offense.
I disagree with that. I think it's the same exact player we saw week 1 whenever he was, again, the defense was what, Maine or whatever? I think.
Remember.
Not Maine.
Maine
week
was
1, I don't know.
later on, but yeah.
Whoever we played, dicing up that defense and looking really, really good. And then the second we play half a defense, offensive coordinator doesn't know what the heck he's doing. And then Arnold is the one that starts with the hate, obviously. But no, I completely disagree. I think coming into the year, that was the exact same player.
I don't know. Coming into the year, but then he very quickly.
I think I think what Dad was saying was just like by the time we were starting playing tougher opponents with the play calls, everything changed. Like I agree with Gary. Week 1, week 2, he looked great, but he wasn't playing against anybody great, so we couldn't see the play calls. We could all see the play calls were terrible, but at least we were winning. But yeah, I feel bad for him.
I know Houston was one of those first games. I know was it Tulane was the third game. And that's whenever I think it all kind of started hitting.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless, it's just frustrating. And another thing is there's another rumor going around that meaning Jackson Arnold, was not very well liked by the players on the team, that they all thought Hawkins should have been the guy that was playing, but the way he treated and talked to teammates, they didn't care for him. I don't know if that's true. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's people probably just bashing him now that he's gone. I don't know, but this is some things I heard before he was leaving. Go ahead.
People are just making up excuses whenever we lose a talent like that, because I genuinely believe he is going to be a first-round quarterback still and in a Heisman contention race in a couple years in Auburn's offense and with the weapons that they're surrounding him with. So no, I think everyone's just salty that we failed him, and it's not his fault; it's our fault.
Yeah,
and I think
we can't hate him for leaving.
No, you can't.
I would have left too, probably.
Exactly, and it's the same thing. I'm looking at whenever Nick Anderson chose where he was going to go. Everyone's like, "Oh, LSU can have him. His brother was better." No, he wasn't. He was not better. What you forget to remember is he was injured his first 3 or 4 years too.
And you talking about Rodney? He was always hurt.
Yeah, he was always hurt. Nick is a special receiver,
and it's all
again. He's kind of the same thing, like you mentioned earlier.
Receiver.
Exactly.
People, the people losing Nick Anderson, Farouk, that hurts. Regardless, I don't care what people say. They're going to be bashing these guys. It's going to hurt. Now there are some of these players that really didn't hear of. I'm not a fan of Kenny Walker? Is that how you say his name? Did he leave?
The defensive back?
Who was it that left to Arkansas? It wasn't him. Who was it? One of the defensive backs left within the portal. Who am I thinking of?
Kenny Walker.
Is that who it was? That's what I was thinking of. I mean, one of them went to Arkansas. I was surprised on that one because we didn't lose a whole lot of defense. I mean, we lost McCullough, but I'm just saying the offensive players, a lot of them were just guys that you're just like, who was this guy? And that's not bashing him because you had to get down to the 105 anyway to let new incoming people come in. But in this new NIL world, I heard somebody say it best this morning. They said there's going to be years where some teams are going to be really good, and then the very next year they're going to drop out. and there's going to be other teams jumping up because that's just the way this new world NIL is going to take us. Now you're going to have most likely you're going to have the Texases, Georgias, Oregons, because they have some of the most money that are going to be up there consistently until they come and they figure out some way to regulate this whole thing.
You know what I think they should do?
What do you think?
I think there should be a cap on what you can pay a player.
I agree 100%.
Like, hey, $500,000.
Yeah.
Like, what college player needs that much money? But two,
I know. Yeah.
They're still making money. They're still getting paid. But then, like, hey, if you want to play for your hometown team or you want to play for Alabama, the only difference is publicity, the team, growth. Right. You can still get paid the same at either team.
There's got to be a cap, some sort of cap.
There's got to be – I don't even care about salary cap as a whole for the whole team, but per player, there should be a limit. And that would I think that would solve a lot of problems. So you don't have all these big teams offering these guys massive NFL-sized contracts.
No, I agree.
They can just say, hey, we'll pay you this, same as these teams. Then it comes back to regular old recruiting of what team do you want to play for.
Yeah, rumor has it Oregon is going to offer Quinn Ewers $4 million to come play quarterback for him next year.
North Carolina.
And North Carolina. Both those are the two schools. Oregon and North Carolina are the two schools that they're going to offer. Which
Oregon,
I don't know.
Oregon is such a –
yeah, I know.
I just love these freaking old quarterbacks. I mean, it's working for them, but it's
working.
Such a weird tactic.
Work for us. I'm just not – I mean, it is what it is. That's the new world we live in. I'm not a fan of the NIL stuff. But, I mean, they're for whatever, 50, 60, 70 years, Oklahoma was one of the more dominant teams in college football. May not have won every year, but we were always, for the most part, probably 90% of the time, 95% of the time, competing to get into that discussion. But it's very, very frustrating. What else, Kellen? Garrett, what do you got? Anything else about the game? Just obviously frustrating. Pretty much it.
I mean, Sawchuk was
Pretty
like,
much.
where the heck has he been all year? And all of a sudden,
yeah,
they said at least he was.
I heard today they said he was hurt all year, but I don't know. I don't buy that.
Why did they? Why
Who was this?
That? They told us
Sawchuk, and that's another thing. It's like, why do you have all these different running backs playing? Pick two guys and ride those two guys. Maybe like a Sawchuk or Barnes, which he wasn't even there, or the kid from local here. What was his name again, Garrett? You know,
Xavier Robinson.
Yeah, Xavier Robinson. Or even the Tatum kid. I mean, but figure it out. Go with two guys, maybe, a third guy every once in a while. Stop with all because who was the kid in there today that dropped the two passes?
Sam Franklin.
Yeah. So like, why is he even in there? And I'm not busting his chops. He'll probably go in the portal tomorrow. But it's just frustrating because it's like try to go. I mean, I know they're trying to do all these different things, but and probably trying to make everybody happy that they played a little bit. But go with the guys that are gonna get you there and get you the wins. Supposedly Sawchuk was hurt all year. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's one of the things I'm hearing. I can tell you, what are your thoughts on the bowl games now with all these players opting out, constantly opting out? There's guys, I think like one of the Penn State backup quarterback opted out. And he going in the portal, and now and they've used him for some different plays every once in a while.
But his reasoning made sense. Like the portal's just.
I don't disagree, but I'm just saying, like it's just like, man, like these.
They need to push it back,
games?
push it after bowl season. Like,
but you're talking about the portal, right? But the only reason why they're doing it the way they're doing it is because then these kids get in there, to start classes in mid-January.
They just got to find a way to fix it because it's just like it's pathetic. Like,
I agree.
Bowl games suck. No,
I agree.
They're terrible.
Yes.
Unless you're in the playoffs. And even then, these playoff teams, as we see, are losing people. Like, what's the face? Like, Texas lost that one quarterback last year, their backup, around the same time. And it's just
Malik Murphy, yeah.
I don't know. They have to figure out a way to fix that because nobody – like, granted, I don't know enough about Navy, but maybe we didn't play against their full team either, so I can't make that as a full excuse. But it's just not fun watching these little partial teams play each other.
Yeah, you can't opt out at Navy, I don't think.
So, yeah.
I think the biggest thing is you just take away – I don't think you should take away their entire NIL money that they received, but I would say maybe 25, 30%. And it's like, if you opt out, you got to pay that back. And that'll make a lot of guys rethink it. A lot of guys.
Well,
and then you'll have those studs. Like, I bet Billy and Danny would have probably still set out because they're going to get drafted high and get paid a lot of money.
Sure.
So it would have paid out.
And unfortunately, I understand that, but I still don't like it. I mean, I understand why they're doing it, but I still don't care for it. But these games have all turned into more of exhibition games than anything else. They're not really. I mean, you're not seeing the full squad out there. I mean, I don't know how. I think Washington State has a game maybe tomorrow. I don't know how they're even fielding it. No head coach, no offense coordinator, no defense coordinator, no quarterback. I mean, they've lost some players. I mean,
they've lost 20-something, 25, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And they haven't had a whole lot of guys coming in, which they would have suited up. But
true, but it's very frustrating. And until they figure it out, which I don't know when or if that's ever going to happen. I think at some point there'll be something happening. My personal opinion is you transfer once, okay. You try to NIL deal again, then you have to sit out a year. That's what I think there's got to be something where you have to, like, that's the way it used to be. I guarantee it'll start slowing down a little bit.
Because sometimes you understand players like Jackson Arnold and stuff. Like, there's got to be something on the team too.
Yeah.
But like guys that are just, we had a rough year, transferred, like, without good cause, there's got to be some sort of
money. There's a lot
pushback
of it
after the first time. Like, okay, well, everybody can transfer once, but like, it's just
sure. No, and I agree. I just think after one, I mean, even if it's okay, you have to sit out half the season, and I don't know what the answer is. Pay all the players, like, have a ranking. Okay, the top, 3 players get a certain dollar amount, and then the next 5 get a certain dollar amount, and then on down, and where are you in the totem pole? Because I mean, most teams, the quarterback's going to get the most, but then you may have some other players where it's a receiver, running back, defensive back, defensive end. I don't know if that makes any sense. I mean, that way everybody's kind of getting paid. I don't want to say the same, but there's got to be some kind of there's got to be something put in place to stop this, because it's not. And I get it; it's the way it is, and I'm going to have to deal with it. But I'm old school. I'm not a fan of it. This is the era that you guys are going to be dealing with for 50 years.
And I just don't feel like you have the same like school pride. Like,
no, they don't have any.
Like,
they don't.
Like all these guys. Like, what if Quinn Ewers did go somewhere else next year? Like, that just feels weird after his legacy at Texas.
Sure, I don't think he's going to be an NFL high draft pick. I think he's going to be a 3rd, 4th rounder. So he's going to want to come back to try to fix a few things. What are you going to say, Garrett?
Well, that's what a lot of people are bashing all these players for now, finally, is like their goodbye letters. It's like, I'll always be such and such. And it's like, you won't, though.
No, you're not.
So don't put that. Don't act
if you
like
make it to the NFL and you say which school you went to, you're going to be saying this.
I saw a funny thing the other day. I don't know, some Clay or somebody may have sent it to me about what, how like they'll say, like, Dylan Gabriel, what did he play for? Southern Florida? What was it? UCF,
Central,
Oklahoma, Oregon. All these different schools. But they kept going on and on because there was something. Because that's probably the way it's going to be. It's unfortunate, but we can't fix it.
Yeah, it just takes away the school pride, which is the best part of college football. Like, that's what separates college football from the NFL.
Sure. What else about the any crazy things going to be going on? I know this may be our last podcast for a little while for some of us. Some of us will continue to have a little bit of a podcast going on, talking about some other different topics. But real quick, let's see here. I want to go over real quick the without 5, what are they called? Chicken wing flavors. I'm going to talk about them, but without knowing what comes next, you're going to have to rank them. You're going to rank these things, okay? Here we go. Ready? Barbecue. What would you rank that for chicken?
4.
For a 4?
We're talking like just wings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably
a sauce. Okay. Garlic Parmesan.
5. I've never had them, but some
5. I know people who like it, like that's their go-to.
Teriyaki.
I guess 3.
2.
Either mild or hot, just buffalo.
1.
1, yeah.
Yeah. Sweet chili.
3.
2, I guess.
Now, if I said
out of
Eddie,
that menu, I'm only getting hot.
what would you say if I said Eddie sauce?
Probably 2.
Really?
Never had it.
It's good. Oh, you have not? You're going to have it when you come. It's good.
I'm
Good stuff.
I'm a half hot, half lemon pepper guy. That's my go-to every time.
Have you ever had ghost pepper?
I don't remember.
No shot, first off. But, I mean, I know some friends that have, and I'm like, they're like over there and their lips are all like burning and they're all red. And I'm like, why? Like, no chance. I'm not doing that. Not for me.
I don't think I've had ghost pepper. I've had some pretty spicy. Well, I don't know. Me and Hunter got one time at Coyotes, and like, it was.
Is that place still there? Yeah, I guess I should ask Garrett.
I love Coyotes, but yeah, you're out talking to me. I was like,
I was looking at you. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot. There's the one. Well, the Foxx and Sports podcast, we'd like to thank everyone for listening to our podcast. Apologize we haven't been on the last few weeks, but we had a lot going on for the holiday season. We want to remind everyone, please stay safe, be savage and not average, and remember to join the Skulk. And also, Kellen, what else?
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Yes, stay thirsty, my friends. Until next time, good. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Foxx and Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Foxx and Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Foxx and Sports and on Facebook at Foxx and Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxandsports@yahoo.com. This has been Foxx and Sports.